I'm a free woman now. Hello. Guess what I got in the mail today? Just the green card. Not much. Stay tuned. I'm gonna go over all the things that I did do or didn't do and talk about the interview at the USCIS in Seattle. Maybe if you have to prepare for this, let's open it first. Welcome to the United States of America. Finally, I'm welcome in this country after almost 2 years. Isn't that cute? Look at all my rights now. It is green. Cool. How did I get here? We applied for the green card or adjustment of status end of January 2020. We married January 11th. We originally did the K1 thing, the fiance visa thing, before I came here, before we married here. I know it's kind of different for everyone, but that was our background. And if you've done a different kind of marriage thing, then it's probably gonna be different for you. And also depending on your case and history, you might need a lawyer or, additional things. We luckily didn't need any of that. We did it all by ourselves. I took some notes. I'm so prepared. So first, thank you, heater. How was the day of the interview? It's paid parking, $8. We went inside pretty much exactly 15 minutes before the interview was scheduled. We were scheduled at 9. Security outside was like, oh yeah, perfect. They wanted to see your letter. There was a security check. You are allowed to bring your phone. Just, in case you didn't know, because it used to be, I think, more restricted, but you can bring your phone. Follow the arrows that say interview. And then there was a counter. They wanted our IDs and the letter, fingerprints, and they took a picture. And then I was given a little slit with a letter and number. And then I had to go upstairs and wait. And boy, we waited. We waited a bit over an hour. But finally, we were called inside. Yeah, we followed this woman into this hallway, and then we went into like a tiny little office with a plexi shield between her desk and our chairs. Yeah, and one of the first things that she said was, "And now give me everything that you think I might need." Or how we prepared our paperwork, we kind of put a bunch of all the originals that she might want, like birth certificate and marriage certificate and stuff like that, and along with other things like in a sleeve. Then we put our joint documents in a sleeve. It was kind of like a mix and match. We also had some like recent pay stubs, but original pay stubs. Scramble everything together, hoping that we didn't give her any originals, because she said basically, whatever you give me, I'm gonna keep forever. Don't give her originals at this point, only if she like really wants to see them, and then she's gonna give them back to you. Separate all your originals from the copies, and hand in all your joint documents in like one sleeve. With those joint documents, what we handed in was our phone plan, our lease, the tax documents from this following year, but he also included the tax documents from the year before that, because they didn't have that yet. Health insurance, our car title, and car insurance. I think that's it. The more the merrier, literally. We do not have a shared bank account, just because we didn't really need it. So that was like also one of her first questions. If we have a shared bank account. We were like, no. She asked us if we have our separate bank statements with us. And we were like, no, why? That's not anything that I heard people bring in when I was preparing for this whole thing. Haven't heard of it. They want to see that to prove that none of us is paying for rent anywhere else. She totally understood that nowadays not all people have a joint bank statement anymore or bank account anymore. So that was not the problem. She was like, well, I might have to send you a letter for the documentation after this interview. So yeah, it's just gonna take a little longer. And we're like, yeah, because that's like the RFE. No one wants this in this whole visa process. No one does. Yeah, we were kind of bummed right from the beginning. Just like a little complete list what we brought. Passports, of course. Birth certificates, maybe translation. Wedding documents, like the certified copy or whatever you have. And then, yeah, all the joint documents. Everything that kind of proves that you are living together, that you are in a relationship together. The photo album. Obviously, they all want photos of you. We put the photos in this thing, and she literally just like took them out and took the like raw pages. Some people give them like an actual photo album, and I don't think those USCIS workers wouldn't be happy about it, because it's like, you know, it has to kind of fit in the file. I would just suggest to do the same that we did, or maybe just put them in a sleeve. And we kind of added all the pictures from the beginning of our relationship, kind of try to use some that we haven't sent in before, because we needed like 2 other sets of photos before this stage. And then of course a lot of photos like from the wedding and this whole time after you got married. And just make sure you have a lot of pictures with other people too, and make sure that you can kind of see the seasons and the changes, and so that they know it's not all just taken in a week or something like that. Recent income stubs, bank statements, separate or joint, bring them. Yeah, and just bring all your previous immigration things that you got over the course of the years. Like bring your current employment authorization, EAD, any current visa thing that you got from the United States. I also just brought a copy of that old medical exam. Some people have to do a new one, but I think in the case of K1 you do not. You also do not need like an affidavit of support, because we've already handed it in. And I just went over the I-485 form again and like printed that out. Look at the things that you submitted, just in case. They don't want to see anything different from what you put on this form. Yeah, she basically makes you stand up and swear that you're telling the truth and nothing but the truth. And then she asked the questions. Let me just go through the questions that she asked us. This is not in order. Where, when, and how did we meet? When did this turn into a relationship, or kind of when it became exclusive? How often did he visit me in Germany? And if he met my family there? Where was our wedding? When? And how many people attended? His full name should be easy. If we are currently working and where. But she just kind of asked him that and not me about him. So, you know, very easy. When did we move into our current apartment? What's our current address? That was kind of like towards the end. Do we live with anyone else? Have we been married before? Do we have kids from previous relationships or kids in this relationship? If it was clear that I was going to move to the United States, or how it was so obvious that we did it this way and not the other way with him going to Germany. Just kind of, you know, about this kind of dynamic. Who pays rent? And then in the end, all the like bad things that you're not supposed to do. Say no 30 times in a row, kind of. Those were the questions that they asked us. But I also like wrote down some more questions that we kind of prepared for. So it's important that you kind of know your timeline. If they ask for dates, just make sure you know when you met, when it turned romantic, if you had a first date, when that was, and just kind of, you know, when you guys visited each other, just all the times basically, or at least like years and months. You don't have to be like super specific, I guess. Why you get married and how did you decide to get married? family names that you're supposed to like tell his, her, whatever, full family names, like, oh, what's brother's, sister's name, whatever. Who proposed to who and where. Top 3 things you like about your spouse. How you spend holidays or anniversaries. And what do you gift each other. How long you dated, before you decided to get married. When did you meet each other's parents. Best friends' names. Where the spouse went to school or university for, and what for, and kind of like what was their job, previous jobs, something like that. How long have they been working at their previous, at their current employer. Yeah, that was kind of it. So yeah, after the questions have been asked, she was actually, because at first she was like, okay, we're gonna send you a request for evidence. But then she was like, I don't really know if I want to bother sending you this and like waste your time and my time. And so luckily she kind of saw that we are real. She kind of didn't really say for sure if it's gonna be fine. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go over this again and kind of decide later that day. And then she said, we're gonna have a notice like the next morning via email or on your USCIS account. So she kind of left it open, but she still wanted you to assume that she's doing a thorough job. I mean, she did, but you know, it was just not necessary in our case. Next morning, like at 7 o'clock, I got a notification that a new card is being produced, which kind of confused me a bit. I thought like, well, first, won't they tell you that it's approved? No, you first get a notice that your card is being approved, and then a day later that your case is approved. And then I think the next third day, it tells you that it's being shipped. Today's Tuesday. Our interview was last Wednesday, so it was 6 days. That's it. Just if you're interested in the timeline, because you know, that's always very different for everyone. So our whole timeline from the beginning when we got engaged to now. We got engaged February 14th in 2019. We filed the I-129F form, like the fiancé K1 visa thing, in March 2019. It got approved in May 2019, but then it kind of got forwarded to the embassy in Germany in July 2019. And then I had my K1 interview scheduled. That was in Germany, in Frankfurt. That was the end of November 2019. So yeah, that was that whole thing. Then I flew to the US. We got married. Yeah, January 11. We filed a adjustment of status at the end of January. I had my biometrics appointment on February 26th, 2020, like right before COVID. This was so lucky looking back. And then interestingly, like looking at my USCIS account, it scheduled an interview appointment in April 2020. And right the next day, it like canceled that interview. So I don't know if that was also COVID related, probably. And then basically I didn't hear anything from that little message in April 2020 until beginning of November 2021. In between, of course, I got my employment authorization. I got that one in beginning of July 2020. I had to then renew my employment authorization. I renewed it at the end of January because I thought it might take like half a year or so. The renewal was only 2 months. I got the new one in March 2021. That's it. I hope some of your questions are answered. Good luck if you have your interview very soon. Really wish the best for you. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Bye bye. Cringy.